welcome back to the channel. My name is Bowden and it is 2002 and this is Falls Creek Flips. So I am a part-time reseller. If you don't know me, I live at Falls Creek on the south coast of New South Wales. And I started this journey in February 2021. I was about to say 2001, but no, 2021. Doing it partly to become self-sufficient. That light, I'm just trying to get it comfortable. Normally on Sundays I do a What Sold Sundays, but I normally try and film 1 week in advance, and being on holidays etc I haven't filmed any, so I have stuff behind me which will be next Sunday's What Sold Sunday. But I thought this week I would just do a bit of where I'm at, how 2001 went, and what my goals are for this coming year. So 2021 was pretty cool. I will go to my spreadsheet here in front of me. I am sitting at my desk, which is nice. Makes things nice and easy. It was pretty cool. I didn't know what I was walking into, essentially. So it was a bit eye-opening. Lots and lots to learn. But ultimately, I'll take you through some of just the base numbers. And you can sort of see how someone who went from essentially nothing to building a business and how that has worked. And then we'll talk about what next year is. So when I started this, I was just doing it sort of a couple of nights a week sort of thing. That was right at the very start of the year. Things have progressed. I started out just selling, video games. That was what I knew really well. I was kind of copying off Retro Rick with his $10 game challenge. Or $10 game collection challenge. So just kind of copying that a little bit and just trying to buy a bulk lot, build up equity, and then continue on. And it snowballed really, really quickly. I loved it. Got into Hairy Tornado. The Aussie Flipper Matt was fantastic from the start. 2 Aussie thrifters. So Brad and Jazz over there in WA. Judder on the Aussie. What am I? I'm losing track of things now. But Brad was fantastic as well. So there's been heaps of people that have been really, really supportive, really, really helpful, and have given me advice, and I've learned a lot from, especially a lot of international people as well. So I can only recommend, if you're thinking of getting into this, just watch and watch and watch heaps and heaps of videos. There's a lot of them out there. This is not my attempt to become famous. If you're new to this is my attempt to document my journey. Now, if in the meantime of documenting that means that I get enough subscribers that this makes me some income, that would be fantastic. If I can make a couple of dollars, that would be awesome. But ultimately, this is for me to be able to document my journey, explain some of my challenges, try and give any advice that I've got, and just to have an opportunity to interact with some of you. So 2021 started in February, pretty much the 1st of February. And so throughout the whole year, I've had a running spreadsheet that I've created. I come from a corporate management background, and my spreadsheet has lots of data on it. So I'm going to break it down into some nice simple things. Month-wise, I'm just going to talk about the cost of goods based on what I've sold each month, and then overarching for the whole year, I'll give you a total view. But essentially, the first month of February, I sold $1,700 worth of goods. Cost me about $320 for cost of goods, about $340 in shipping, $255 in listing fees. So my net return for the month was about $777. Now, that sounds nice, but there were extra goods that were purchased in that month, and probably some that are still sitting in my inventory back there waiting to sell. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You learn, and I'll after 12 months, I'll go through, look at what I bought 12 months ago, and I'm going to try and do combined bulk lots and sell stuff off in bulk. But that was that. So then we'll go 3 months down the track. So May I did 3,133. So I'd pretty much doubled my business in 3 months. Again, I didn't take that as that's what's going to happen every 3 months. That was just me branching out from just doing games to sort of doing everything and really starting to get a gist of what I was doing. You also start to get a bit of traction as you get more positive responses, as you get different things on there, as people are looking for stuff. So I didn't take it as, oh my gosh, I'm going to be doing $6 grand in a couple of weeks kind of thing. No, that was just where I was at. So I was quite happy with that. felt like it was going really well. So $3,133. Cost of goods for that was $549. $665 shipping and $470 in listing fees. So my net return was about $1,343. $1,300 for, a side hustle, a bit of fun on the side, bit of income coming in. That's where it was at. And then I'll come down to where we're at November. So November we did 4,726. So really good numbers, really strong, positive, continued to grow. I had some hiccups probably around September where I copped a couple of euros, and that was a real frustration because I copped a couple of weeks where I was out of action there. But to get back up to November being 4,700, I was really happy. Cost of goods was 490. And you might be like, well, how did your cost of goods drop but your income increase? Well, I'd started to do some consignment lots, and consignment lots were really good. And then my shipping was $915, so you can see that shipping was definitely up. Listing fees was $678, so my net return prior to consignment payments was $2,528.95. So yeah, pretty substantial, I guess. That's close to $500 a week essentially that I'm making there. So, and that's obviously, that's not taking into tax, that's not taking into fact, needing to pay out extra consignment deals. So there's some extra costs that were coming in there. But by that stage, November, that was when I actually quit 2 days of work a week. So I was doing essentially 4.5 days a week. So I had 1 day off a fortnight with the boys, with my sons, and I moved to doing only 3 days a week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I would do, Monday was a whole flips day, and Friday I spent the whole day with the boys. I have a 2-year-old and a 10-month-old now. So yeah, lots happening. Business was growing. So this has been a year of growth. Again, like I say, it went from video games to now where if I take you through my stock, I have shoes, low end to high end. I've sold a pair of shoes to England this week. I sold a pair of Jordans this week for $240. But I've also got $30 pairs of shoes that I've sold recently, etc. I sell hats, both vintage and modern, a lot of sporting apparel, so team gear, trading cards. So like I've sold a lot of LaMelo ball cards here this weekend. So that's $70 worth of cards there between those 5 cards. So that's really nice. So just trying to diversify what I'm involved in. DVDs, like I said, games, and I even picked up a bunch of VHS tapes today, or yesterday I should say, in garage sales, which are back, which you'll see hopefully on Wednesday this week in my garage sale trial video. But to take you through the overall figure for the year, this is to give you a bit of an idea. I've done in sales $37,174.35. Now that's eBay, Poshmark, Depop, Facebook, garage sales, and personal sales. So almost 40 grand in sales, which is like a fantastic number for a first year. It's been nice to still have my personal income coming in outside of the business income. So that's kind of been able to allow me to focus most of the money that I've been getting on buying extra stock, on buying things that I've wanted, I guess you could say. Trading cards are one of those things that I've really enjoyed. I got a special card for Christmas, so that was nice. But essentially, that's where I'm at. Now, cost of goods. What have I spent on goods this year? I've spent $11,141.21. So pretty substantial figure when you think about it. But to think that there's $37,000 in sales I've made, and I've still got stock on hand, of about 11, and I've spent 11,000. So, and that's still with quite a bit. So shipping costs for the year was $7,228. My listing fees were $5,399. And then my supplies throughout the year were about $1,000. So giving me a net total of $12,197. My ASP was $32.70, and my average cost of goods was $4.87. So yeah, you can see that it's not been too bad. It's been pretty reasonable. So the average return that I've had per sale has been $14.06. That's the average return per item that I've sold. My largest month in sales, I think that one's wrong. There's one that says $2,000 there, which I don't think is right. But largest week of sales I had was $1,591, so almost 16,000. So that's pretty substantial. Pretty happy with that sort of level. If I can be hitting that every week, I'm going to be a super happy man, to put it politely. But yes, that sort of gives you guys a bit of an overview of how this year has gone. Have I enjoyed it? 100%. I couldn't have enjoyed it any better. What would I do differently? It's very hard to say that, because ultimately you learn as you go. I was lucky that I had a good understanding in regards to warehousing, freight, having worked as a national manager for Fastway Couriers, worked as a regional franchise manager for Fastway Couriers, worked as a warehouse manager for a national company dealing with products going into like Caltex, Coles, all those sorts of things. So I understood that level of the business quite well. I've dealt with budgets. I sat on boards. I was chairman of Bendigo Bank branch here locally in Nowra. I've been on council here locally, elected councillor. So, that's a $300 million budget per year that I had to sort of oversee. So there's been a lot that I've had a background. I wasn't walking into this, as someone who's never been in business or never had to oversee a business, which can be daunting if you've never done that. If you've only ever, no disrespect, but if you've only ever been a Milko or Postie or something like that, if you've only ever worked retail or hospo, it can be quite daunting, some of the stuff that you need to know and understand. So it's been good. My best mate's an accountant as well. So he's been helpful with any of the little bits and pieces I've needed to ask of him, and he's always been available. So that's really where I'm at. What could I have done better? Realistically, your purchases. That's the biggest thing. You get so caught up in the treasure hunt sometimes. I probably didn't need to buy as much as I have. But that's how you learn sometimes. So also not listing as often as I should have. That was one of the big killers to begin with. So it would have been nice if I had have been doing better in regards to consistent listing, like even 5 a day, and understanding drafts as well. Earlier on, it took me almost till a couple of weeks ago to understand drafts and having drafts ready. So pretty much the end of November was when I really started drafting listings. I would just make listings as I got out here and put them up essentially, and that was that. I might do 30 listings, I get them all up, rather than getting 30 drafts and doing 10 a day for 3 days. So yeah, I've changed things up with that, and that's really making a key impact. So now my big goals for this year, for 2022, I've written them out, and I'm going to say them to you guys, because speaking things obviously does help bring it into existence. So number one goal is I want to hit $2,000 of sales per week. That's my goal. If I can hit that for 2 months, then essentially I'm going to actually take this on full time. That's my target. If I can do it for 2 months of $2,000 per week in sales, because that essentially equates to basically my return is about 50% after fees, etc. So if I can bring in $1,000 a week, I can take out tax out of that, some super, and then I'm still comfortable on about $600 per week. I want to clean and maintain this studio behind me. Some of you have seen previous videos where this studio is a bit of a mess, and I'd like to have it a bit better of a space to be able to do stuff in. So that's a big thing, not only for myself but also for my wife. She also uses this area for like our tool space and storage, etc. So I'd really like to have it more organized. Now, in saying that it's unorganized, it's not all mine. There is a lot of family stuff in here, so it's not all business stuff. But even just the business space needs to be sort of tidied up. I want to have no more than 70 items in my listing pile, unless if I've just bought a bulk buy. That's something I want to try and achieve. because otherwise what happens, and I found this recently, is that you just leave the stuff that you kind of think is going to be a little bit too hard. I've been, over the last couple of weeks, over the Christmas period, essentially from Christmas until now, I've been focusing on trying to list some of my oldest stuff. The reason being is it's the stuff that's kind of not easy. It's not like all DVDs or all video games or all hats or all shirts. It's the little knick-knack things that you've bought throughout the year that you thought, oh, there might be some value in that. It's, you know, other bits and pieces that are a little bit challenging and difficult. I mean, one of them I bought ages ago was this here Lone Star tree ornament. So Lone Star flag, 1998. So vintage little Christmas ornament. They're a limited run and they sell for like $50. But I've just kind of had it sitting there and I haven't done anything. I should have had it up before Christmas. I didn't. Another thing that I've just listed is this really cool vintage handmade. You'll see the patterning on it. Teacup. So, you know, brew your own teacup. So that's something else that's really cool that, again, it just sort of doesn't fit my normal wheelhouse, and so I've kind of left it. So I'm trying to get on top of that, trying to be productive with that. And if I keep down to 70 items, then it really doesn't get out of hand as it kind of feels like it has recently. The next thing is YouTube. I want to try and produce 2 videos a week. I want to try and have either a op shop garage sale video in the middle of the week, or me giving advice or support or help in regards to something, as well as my What's Sold Sundays, because those extra videos are the ones that really do bring in new people. The guys that keep watching, you guys out there that do watch every week, I really appreciate you, and you've really given me a lot of encouragement and support, and so I really appreciate that. But like to be able to grow this to the point of where this is feeding a little bit of income in as well, I need to bring in new people, and that's what those other videos do. And then my final goal is I want to reach $30,000 in sales in 90 days. That's the ultimate target. I want to have $2,000 per week minimum, but then I want to hit that 30K in 90 days. Because if I do that, 120K in a year, that's $60,000 then I'm taking home, and that's pretty good. So, oh, come on in, babe. Here you go. You're actually gonna potentially meet the wife if she walks in front of the camera. We'll see what happens. No, she's saying and not wanting to do it. She's not super keen, is what she's saying, but it's okay. It's not live, babe. It's just recording. Great. There she is. Cool. It's all good. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, guys. 2022 is a big year. Kate there is about to start studying in a week and a half, babe. 2 weeks. 2 weeks to start studying. So that's full-time study medicine. And then I want to be able to be as available to assist her as much as possible, to give her the freedom to study, to look after the boys where possible. So that's where I want to get this business happening as quickly as possible so I can be there. So guys, stay tuned. Let's support each other. Let's fingers crossed that 2022 can be huge for all of us. And thank you all for watching. And as we always say, just keep flipping.